Keeping kids from the hands of filth. Bluntly put, that was the aim of today's computer lesson in 7 primary schools around Townsville.
We need to make sure that they have the rules and the tools to enable them to protect themselves.
An ever-increasing number of internet pedophiles are coming before the courts. Today, police explained how children are drawn into their traps.
It can happen very quickly and very easily over the internet, and that's quite a deceptive thing.
It's like him, it could be like a fake, and it could be like his little brother when he was little, and he could be using that photo.
We hope that at the end of this process that they will at least have the ability to think differently about questions that are asked of them on the internet and to question the information that's provided to them.
And apparently it's working.
It's pretty good to help us to know what sites are good and bad.
Never identify your details, your name, your address. They might be assaulting you.
But detectives say children are enticed to meetings with pedophiles all too regularly. The safety program called Cybersmart Detectives was developed in England and is being trialled here. Mark Sulo, 10 News.
Juvenile aid officers have a new weapon in the fight against sexual predators who lure young people through web chat rooms. An internet program is teaching school children to be careful about who they speak with and what details they offer to strangers on the net.
300 primary school students have been given a lesson on the dangers of cyberspace. The Cybersmart Detectives program aims to reduce the number of children being exploited over the internet.
These kids are doing what comes naturally, surfing the web and playing computer games, now a major source of entertainment and fun for children. But there's a dark side, and it's a major problem for police, with more and more sexual predators using the internet to prey on innocent youngsters.
We've had a number of arrests over the last couple of years, so it's timely that we do something about prevention.
That's where the Cybersmart Detectives project comes in. Tried and tested in the UK, the students log onto the server and are given a series of clues online to help solve a scenario. The project, run by the Australian Communications Media Authority and Townsville Juvenile Aid Bureau, aims to educate children on internet safety.
There's not one answer to keeping your kids safe on the internet. There's a raft of measures that need to be adopted.
Today, detectives were on hand to answer questions and in turn get a better insight into how a child thinks. 300 school students took part in the activity that lasts around 2 hours.
Children are being trained to identify online predators. Police are guiding them through the real dangers of pedophiles stalking the virtual world.
Safe inside the classroom, these students are learning about the sinister side of life. A computer program teaching primary kids to avoid sexual predators online.
It's about teaching us to make sure that you're safe on the internet and in chat rooms, and not to give out your information to people you don't know. You could meet someone, you think they're really nice, but then who knows what they could do to you.
Students are given a range of chat room scenarios. At the other end, police guiding them through their decision-making process.
It's about giving them some tips that will help them to, surf the internet safely.
Cyber safety is a very real concern. It's estimated 20% of children online are approached. 50,000 pedophiles trawling the internet at any one time.
I've had people that have asked for their phone numbers, and people that have pretended to be not who they are.
This is just one of a range of programs available across Australia. Police say if this program proves successful, they'll be recommending every South Australian primary student undergo similar training. Parents can also help protect their children by monitoring their online activities, checking chat room contacts and talking about the internet.
I probably won't go on a chat site now because I know that there are a lot of dangers.
It certainly helps us think.
Gabrielle Boyle, 10 News.
Stranger danger in cyberspace. These students from Grange Primary, along with 9 other schools, are learning about the dark side of online chat rooms. They've had to find out what happened to 12-year-old Sarah, who's disappeared from school after chatting with Kel, who claims to be 17.
We reckon that she's being bullied on the chat room by someone who is a lot older than her.
This education process is all about minimising those opportunities for child sex offenders to procure a child over the internet.
Programs like this place most of the responsibility onto children to recognise danger signs in chat rooms, but there is a role for their parents.
What we say to parents is involve yourselves in the use of the internet with the children.
And the best tips for kids, only chat with people you know and don't give out personal information.
I've got a few people that I don't know that well, and so I probably won't be giving out anything. Might as well be safe than sorry.
Chris Warren, 7 News.
Primary students have participated in an online detective game which warned them that pedophiles may use the net to lure their victims. 250 students across the state logged on, working with police officers to detect chat room predators who use fake identities.
Kids really shouldn't go in chat rooms in the first place, and if we don't know who they are, then don't talk to them.
The main message? Don't divulge personal details.
This education process is all about minimising those opportunities for child sex offenders to procure a child over the internet.
An online game is teaching children about the risks of chat rooms amid growing concerns about internet crime. More than 200 students from around the state logged on to the interactive program today to learn about stranger danger in cyberspace.
Today, around 250 South Australian school children were being warned about the dangers of chat rooms.
It is a growth crime. Certainly the experience both in South Australia, nationally and internationally, is that child sex offenders do use the internet to procure children.
While many kids know more about computers than their parents and the regular users of chat rooms, the authority that monitors this type of communication says that doesn't mean they know all the risks. A survey last year found 40% of children interviewed would consider meeting someone they talk to online, and only about 1 in 10 would tell their parents.
When we asked kids about what they thought the dangers of the internet were, there were things like about viruses to their computers and things like that, rather than about the dangers of meeting people online.
I thought about little stuff that now this is a big problem.
To reduce the risks, the Australian Communications and Media Authority and police have introduced an online game to several schools called Cybersmart Detectives. Students investigate a case of chat room bullying by sending questions to experts located in control rooms around the country. When the game was played interstate, it prompted several children to report actual cases of possible predatory online behaviour. The game will be run nationally in September. Kerry Stade, ABC News, Adelaide.
Canberra will soon be home to a national policing team to protect children from internet predators as part of a crackdown on cybercrime. The federal government has launched a national program to help kids be safe online.
The internet. Police admit it's an environment with no real scrutiny.
It can be a great source of good, a great power for education. But make no bones about it, there are people on the internet who lurk out there who pose a real threat to our children.
Good Shepherd Primary in Amaroo, one of 19 schools to log on to Cybersmart Detectives in a nationwide launch. In an internet-themed scenario, students work online with community professionals to work through dangers in cyberspace. Among the safety tips, to keep their private details private and not to meet face-to-face with an online friend without a parent present. The program also complementing the federal government's $116 million package to protect online use in the home.
We've committed to providing every Australian family, as well as libraries across Australia, with free filters to ensure that we can block inappropriate and offensive material that can harm you.
Canberra to also become the hub for AFP's online child sex exploitation team. Janine Manwaring, Win News.
Canberra school children have taken part in a national exercise to learn more about safety on the internet. Students at an Amaroo primary school today linked up to an interactive online game that teaches them internet safety messages. The federal government says Child Protection Week is a good opportunity to remind parents and children of potential dangers.
The internet can be a great source of good, a great power for education. But make no bones about it, there are people on the internet who lurk out there who pose a real threat to our children.
The exercise is a joint initiative between the Australian Federal Police and the Communications and Media Authority.
Formative tools of our time, and it's expanding every day. But not everything about this technology is good. Amelia explains.
We all learn about stranger danger at school, but it applies to the internet as well.
On chat rooms you don't really know who's going to be speaking to you, and that you should find out who you're speaking to before you actually decide to meet them somewhere.
The net might be a great tool for doing your homework, chatting, even making friends. The problem is you can't be sure who you're making friends with. So our communications regulator, the Australian Communications and Media Authority, or ACMA, has come up with a way to help kids stay safe online. Cybersmart Detectives is an internet activity which teaches students to use the net safely. It was tested by more than 500 school children, working with experts in control rooms around the country. Kids work online in chat scenarios, while police officers, experts and teachers respond in real time to the students' questions and theories. The aim?
To give the kids the tools and the skills they need to operate the internet safely.
The program has 4 main messages. Parents should monitor their children's use of the internet. You should never give out personal information when chatting online. If you want to meet someone you've chatted with, always take a parent. And be aware that online people may not be who they say they are. Cybersmart Detectives builds on the federal government's $116.6 million package protecting Australian families online, which will take internet protection one step further.
We've committed to providing every Australian family, as well as libraries across Australia, with free filters to ensure that we can block inappropriate and offensive material that can harm you.
The scheme will get up and running next year. But for now, these Cybersmart Detectives are getting the right message.
Never give your real name out on a chat room or your phone number or any of your personal details. I think the best thing about chatting is you can get involved in a situation, but you don't have to be chatting to someone face to face.
Sometimes I look out for people saying mean things, and so I just click the exit button.
Never give any personal information, and always tell a parent or supervisor if anything bad goes wrong.